What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall markets. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward and other factors out there. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about 4 days from now. Anyways, NIO's looking more bearish as we got this rejection so far, especially after the big downgrade by Goldman Sachs. It's very unfortunate, guys, but I have to be very honest about that this downtrend continues. And this is no surprise. We were talking about this stock looking bearish for quite a while, especially as we have this gap down here to fill. So I do think that NIO will approach the lower fours, but this is just another buying opportunity for the long term because I still see a lot of potential for the long term of this company. As their margins improve and things get a lot better, I'm very confident they're going to be completely fine. And that's why I want to talk about some important data first before I break down more details about these charts. So the first thing worth mentioning is the reason why NIO is down is they got this very, very big downgrade from Goldman. This is not the best of news. They have a price target of $3.90, unfortunately. And they basically went on about how NIO's earnings were not as good as what they were expecting. And they also talked about how, despite the fact that there are some improvements in terms of their sales numbers, they're a little bit concerned about their margins. And I think that's something that's worth mentioning. There are some concerns about this, especially in the high interest rate environments. That's why NIO is resorting to reducing them by a larger extent to get those sales up. Now, even if they get their sales up, the problem is their margins are they're still working on that. It's going to take a while to really get that profitability up. But I believe that with their new brands coming out and as time goes on, they will continue to improve those. It's just taking longer than what a lot of these companies were expecting. So that's why we got these downgrades. And it's completely understandable. I do think the share price could drop quite a bit because of this. However, I still believe in the long-term future with battery swapping improving, the EV market growing, and what NIO is investing in moving forward. I think it's going to be completely fine. I'm very confident NIO is going to be completely fine for many years to come. I also want to pay attention to their Firefly, the new sub-brand, and I think that's going to be a big winner for them, especially as they start to go down the luxury line and they've entered the sedan market. I'm very confident it's going to be completely fine for the long term, and this is just creating more opportunity for short-term buys. Also know this, volume is at 70 million. That is once again above average. So we had high volume selling as short volume is continuing to increase. Big increase in short volume for today, not the best of news. And then besides that, I didn't really see anything else too significant on the news. As far as the broader markets goes, we had a very, very mixed day today between the red and the green. And then NIO, they got listed on the New York Stock Exchange back in 2018. The share price saw lots of big ups and downs. I just want to say that despite that, they are continuing to receive more and more users daily, as they have about 600,000 users globally. Now, NIO is a big company, at least in that sense, as they have a big community, but they have so much growth potential. I say this because despite the short-term downwards pressure and the downgrades that they're getting, causing some short-term downside, I still believe it's another buying opportunity because NIO has a lot of potential for the much longer term. I think that their community is going to continue to grow, especially as they invest in new technologies. The share price has a lot of gaps to fill above, and I think we are going to base very soon. There's plenty of gaps in the 6s, the 9s, the 20s, and the list goes on. And NIO will be seeing some very, very nice upside in the future. I see this dip as a really good buying opportunity because of the growth potential and because of what I see in the future battery swapping. I think battery swapping is going to be a big hit for them for many years to come, and the stock is bound for that big comeback. But we're not quite there yet, so that's why we have to give this a while, and it's going to be a very, very big run, at least for the long term. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so I want to make that very, very clear, at least as time goes on. Now, in terms of our data for tomorrow for the broader markets, we do have big data coming out for tomorrow. This could affect NIO to some extent. Tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. We have the core PCE price index report month over month and then year over year. So we'll see how these inflationary numbers end up looking. So watch that very, very carefully because these numbers will cause some higher volatility. So watch what we get for PCE data. The Fed does tend to look at that. The PCE price index is going to give us more insights on how inflation is looking. Then we also have the GDP numbers coming out, especially the GDP price index and GDP growth. So look for a lot of data at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, GDP numbers and inflationary numbers. And besides that, they're basically throwing in all the data for the rest of the week out for tomorrow. It's a lot of data coming out. We also have bill auctions at 10 o'clock a.m. because the stock market is going to be closed on Thursday thanks to Thanksgiving in the USA, at least for the American markets, right? In terms of earnings, we just had Dell announce their earnings, but there's not really much coming out for tomorrow. And then Thursday, the market's going to be closed. Dell shares ended up dropping because of the fact that their earnings were not that strong. They did beat on analyst expectations, but when it comes to their overall, outlook, things are not looking as strong for them, despite their AI growth. So that's the reason why the share price ended up dipping. If you look at their EPS, it was a beat. Revenue is also so-so. But the issue that they had is what we're looking for in the fourth quarter. Their overall revenue was under expectations, and then their EPS is also below expectations for the fourth quarter. They had a weak guidance, which is why the share price is in the red. So that's why we saw Dell end up dipping. From a technical standpoint, guys, I do expect more downside for NIO. We could continue to fall closer to $4, so just keep that in mind. And then for other tickers out there, we have the QQQ. This is looking more bullish if you look at the 4-hour time frame. As long as you don't lose 504, this chart is favoring. That wants to make its way back up for higher levels. You could also interpret this as a very, very nice cup and handle like structure that's developing, and we could be on our way closer to all-time highs. We'll see if this could break past 510. If that breaks, looking for 512. I think we retest that tomorrow morning as it's looking more bullish. Apple's looking more bullish, looking for 236 as a potential target. Tesla, on the other hand, is very flat right now, trading completely sideways. The unfortunate thing about Tesla is that we weren't able to really crack past these highs. We pumped only to get a rejection. So make sure you watch that 333 area. If Tesla loses that, we go down to 329. And that fills us, we fill the gap down here. If we break past 343, we turn back up. But I think this is favoring a move down towards 333. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get from here. For ES, we look more bullish. We're looking for essentially 6,050 is our resistance. We'll see if that breaks or not. I think there's more upside potential right here. For SPY, we have more upside potential. We're looking for 601 to break, and then we're looking for 602.5 as our next potential target. We'll see if 600 holds. If we lose 600, I'm looking for 598 to be retested. As long as we're above 600, we're looking for 602.5 as our potential targets. For Nvda, we look a little bit weaker right here. We're going to be looking at 135.86 as our main support. We'll see if we bounce off that or not, but it's still looking a little bit weak here. And if we don't hold that, we're looking for 133 as our targets. There's a little bit of weakness, at least for tech, because of that. Bitcoin is still in a bit of a downtrend on the 4-hour. Might attempt to retest just under 92,800 before it continues to dip, but there is that risk of us getting closer to about 90,000 flat. So it's still a little bit more bearish looking, despite the fact that we see the S&P 500 continuing to pump. For others out there, we have MSTR continuing to look bearish. I called out 350 if we lost 376. That's where we ended up dipping to. We actually went down to 340. So we have to reclaim 376. Otherwise, it continues to dip closer to about 325. Watch 340, 350, and 340 as our main supports. For others out there, we have the IWM Russell 2000. We pumped and dipped, and now we're just trading sideways. We could attempt to push back up to about just under 242. If we break that, we push higher. If we reject that, we could continue to dip back down for about 239. So be careful. I do see a little bit of consolidation, but I think we do bounce tomorrow morning for 242 as a potential target, and we'll see if we could end up holding above that or not. So look for a little bit more upside. We'll see what the reaction happens to be. For coin, we're on a bit of a downtrend right here, so we're making lower highs. We need to reclaim 304 and 294. There's a chance we do try to hold this support and we try to make our way back up to about 300, but then I think it's just going to get very, very tight and consolidate around the 300 area. Amazon, on the other hand, is more bullish. We have an imbalance to fill, which should take us back up to about that 210 area. We have Meta looking a little bit more bullish. We'll have to see if we break out here or not. We have 575 and 580 as our potential targets. Microsoft is looking decent. We'll have to see if we break this resistance. If we break 428, we're looking for this imbalance for 430. If we lose support right here, we're looking for it to back down to 425. But overall, we do look a little bit more bullish right here. For Google, we look more bullish. We'll have to see if we break past 170. If 170 breaks, we're looking for essentially 172.5, then eventually 173. So I do see some more upside potential in Google if we manage to hold above 171. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great rest of your day. I'll be back very, very soon in my next video for tomorrow. Until then, please have a great day, guys. I appreciate you guys for your attentions. Just know that NIO does have some weakness, and despite this weakness that is developing, I'm still very confident in the long-term future of this company, but the short-term is at risk of some downside. So I think NIO is going to be revisiting 4.25 very soon. We might continue to dip towards that. If it doesn't hold us, we're looking for the gap fill all the way down to about 4.1. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is, guys. This is another long-term buying opportunity. So just be very, very aware of that. Until I see you guys again, I thank you all for listening. Please have a great day and peace out.